All right, first one. We got 4 to the third over 4 squared. 3 on top, 2 on bottom. Leaves you 1 more on top. We write 4 or just 4 to the first or just 4. If it was something like 4 squared or 4 to the third, you would multiply it out, but it's just 4 to the first. Number 2, 5 is the only coefficient that we have, so that stays on top. A to the third over a, there's 2 on top. 2 more on top than the bottom, so we write a squared. B squared over b just leaves us with 1b on top, so it's 5a squared b. Number 3, you could do 42 to the fourth and 63 to the fourth, as well as multiplying everything else to the exponent of 4. Don't do that. Okay, simplify it first on the inside. 42 over 63 is what? So I'm going to put 2/3 there. I have a to the 8th, because that's a to the 4th squared. I have 2 sets of 4. And I have b squared. And then down on the bottom, I have a and b to the 6th. I can go even further before I deal with the 4th, because I have 2 over 3. Then we're going to go a to the 7th, b to the 4th on the bottom. So now, when I multiply to the 4th, 2 to the 4th is 16. And then go a to the 28th. 3 to the 4th is 81, and that would be b to the 16th. And the 28 and 16 we get from the power rule. It's multiplying the exponents. Number 4, I have to do the power rule. I'm going to multiply 1/4 by 4. What is that? Yeah. So it's x to the 1. And then what's 4 times 1/2? So it's x over y squared. Positive exponents, we leave it as that. Number 5, I would first take care of the negative exponent. So I'm going to flip them and write it 7a to the 5th on top, 3a squared on the bottom. It's still a 2 out here, but I've gotten rid of the negative exponent. Your other option is to distribute the negative into all the terms, but that gives you more negatives than you want to deal with. It's easier if I can get rid of it, and now I'm looking at all positive exponents. So top, I'm going to have 49a to the what?
6.
I guess I could simplify the a's. Let's do that. I did a to the 10th, I guess, and I did 9a to the 4th, but eventually it comes out to be a to the 6th. So yeah, you had the right idea. Over 9. 49 and 9 going to reduce? 7 and 3 don't reduce, so if I square them, it's still not going to reduce. Number 6, we first need to deal with this 3 right there. So we're going to go 3a to the negative 2, b to the 4th, and then it's 8a to the 3rd, b squared. Now, 3 and 8 aren't going to change. What's going to happen with the a's? Cancel's not a math word. Where the a's end up? How many? 5 on the bottom. The negative 2 moves down, becomes a positive 2, along with the 3 gives us 5. B's? 2 on top. So 3b squared over 8a to the 5th. Number 7, 625 is 25 times 25. 25 is 5 and 5. So how many 5s we got?
5.
Yep, set comes out. The answer is 5. There's no radical left inside. Now, if there was a 2 left in there, if it was something else, you would write 5 4th root of whatever's left. There's nothing left, so it's just 5. Okay, we're going to first take care of the 2/3. So I have d to the 1/3, a to the, that would be 2/12, and d to the 2/3. A, that's the only a I have, so that's going to be a to the 1/6. What's 1/3 plus 2/3? For d? Yeah, it's 1, so it's d to the 1st. Now, it asks us to write it in radical form. Is d to the 1st going to be anything in a radical form? No, so we'll just put that out in front. And then a to the 1/6 becomes the 6th root of a. Be careful when you write that so it doesn't look like d to the 6th square root of a. It needs to look like the 6th root of a. All right, number 9, 5, and 10 becomes 50. There's no exponents on the outside of the parentheses like there was on number 8, so I can just start multiplying. And then I have 1/3 plus 3. Well, that's going to be 1/3 plus 9/3. So it's going to be x to the what? Good. Does the 10/3 matter to the 50 at all? No, it does not affect it. So when I write it in radical form, we're going to go 50 out in front, and then we could go the cube root of x to the 10th. But that's not finished, because how many sets can I take out? I can take out 3 sets, because 3 sets of 3 gives us 9. So we're going to go 50x to the 3rd. How many left? 1 left inside. Now you could have went back to the original and said, hey, that's just going to be cube root right here, and wrote that as cube root of x, and then put the other parts together. Depending how you see that, that would work. But we got your answer. Okay? How am I going to write this in exponent form? Then what's that become? And does it become? What happened to the 2?
It's the square root.
I have to write the 2 there when it's square root. So by changing it to exponent form, you get 6/4. That's understanding the rule for exponents. You reduce the fraction, perfectly fine when you have fractions as exponents, and then that converts back in radical form to be the square root of a to the 3rd. Now, does that simplify more if we needed to? If there's 3 a's in there and it's square root, you could simplify it out. So it's not finished yet, but at least that converts to the form we want. Okay, 6 to the negative 1 is 1 over 6. 4 to the negative 2 is 1 over 16. What's 16 times 6? How much? 96. So it's 1 over 96. 6 and 4 are not the same base, so we're not going to multiply those together before the exponents. We just simplify out from there. X to the negative 6 to the negative 3. This one I'm not going to worry about the negative exponents because I'm going to multiply negative 6 and negative 3, so we get x to the 18th. Negative times a negative is a positive. We leave it as that. 13, what is our coefficient? 16. And then how many x's do you have? 16x to the 19th. Okay, 14. X, y to the negative 6 becomes that. X over y to the 6th. Then I got x cubed, y cubed. So how many x's am I going to end up with on top? 4 on top. And then the y's are going to end up where? Bottom, how many? Yep. X to the 4th over y to the 3rd. Number 15, what happens to b to the 0? Yeah, it's just 1. And in multiplication, 1 just kind of disappears for us. So we're left with a to the 1/4 times a to the 5/8. Am I going to multiply or add those fractions? We're going to add them. So I'm going to change that to be 2/8 and 5/8, which gives me?
7/8.
Could also write that as the 8th root of a to the 7 if it wanted it in but that's not. If it wanted it in radical form. 16. What is 4 squared to the 1/2? 4 to the... What's 2 times 1/2? 1. That's gone. So then I got 5 to the 3rd, x to the 6th. So this is 4 times 125 x to the 6th. 4 times 125, I believe it's 500. 500 x to the 6th. 17. I have 7 and 5 gives me 35. X to the what? Very good. Number 18. X to the 0. That's going to be gone. That's going to become 1. So I have 8 to the third. X to the what? What's 1/3 times 3? 1. And then 3 to the negative 2 just becomes 1/9. Because that's going to be 3 squared. The negative moves it down, though. 8 to the third. Someone help me out there. What do we got?
112.
Good. So I got 512x/9. Now, 9 is 3 squared. 8 is a bunch of 2's, and we've cubed it, so it's even more 2's. Those 2 are not going to reduce, so we'll leave it as that. 19. I'm going to be left with a, because a to the 0 becomes 1, and b to the third and b to the negative 2 leaves you with just a b, so the answer is AB. Okay, number 20. That works. Why does that not work? Yes, bases are different. Bases are not the same. You can't use the rule. Okay, you have to make sure they're the same. And you guys aren't having much issue with that. You guys look at the variables and you're doing that just fine, but we throw in a bunch of letters. Be careful as it goes through.